Okay, in this exercise we are going to show you using video how to enter a property, and it will coincide with the manual that you have there in front of you. Um, we're going to start with this Tammy Garlington, and we are going to start by entering her into the system um, from the beginning. So when you first log in, you will click on the new foreclosure tab, and this is the screen that will come up. When you are ready to do the data entry, you'll click on Research New, and that will bring us to the Property Wizard screen where we can enter our data from the listings that we see um, in front of you in your manual. So here we are going to search for property. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is this login area here. When two people are working, which there should be, each person has to be on a different login. There are two here, Brandon and Rob. One person has to be on Brandon, one person has to be on Rob. Otherwise, the system won't work to go out to the various websites that it needs to go to. So let's take a look at our listing here. The name is Tammy Garlington. Okay, see that? Tammy Garlington. So we're going to type that name into the appropriate fields in our search for property screen. So we're going to type in the last name and only the first three digits of the first three letters of the first name. We do not want to spell out the entire name, as spelling mistakes are common. So in order to avoid not finding anything, we only use the first three letters of the first name. The next thing that we want to look for, as you see on the screen here, is address. We want to see if there's an address somewhere in this listing. We can see in this listing that no address exists. There is not a property address here for us to put into those fields. More often than not, there will not be a property address. Sometimes there will be. If it's there, we'll use it, but often it's not. So in this case, it does not. So the next field that we have to look for is the book. The book is our, either it will say book. If it does say book, it'll say book and then page, or it'll say document number, or in this case it says instrument number. So we want to put this whole number right here into our book field. Alright, so what I'm going to simply do here is I'm going to copy this and paste it into the book field. Again, there's no page. The county is our next field, and we see that the county is Jackson County Circuit Courthouse. So this is the one that we want to use. We want to use Jackson County Circuit Courthouse. So Jackson County is the county, so we are going to make sure that our county is Jackson. The next two fields are auction date and auction time. Those are revealed right here. We can see that this here is the auction date, Wednesday, October 28, 2009, at the specific time of 9:55 a.m. So we're going to come over here and we're going to type in 10/28/09 and 9:55 a.m. Our next field is the trustee, in which case just after this section here, this here is the legal description. generally we're going to find the trustee after that section. And in this case we do, and it's Millsap and Singer. So most of our trustees are already in the system, and so all we have to do is type in their letters, first three letters, and they should pop up for us. Then we hit tab and fill in the trustee file number. Now not all the trustees have a file number. In this case Millsap and Singer does. They have a file number right here. But bear in mind one thing, we do not use the entire set of numbers for this particular trustee. And there is a reason for that. On the trustee's website, all of these numbers are not posted either. So when we're out looking for the file number, we want to match what's on the trustee's website, which is just these two sets of numbers. Okay, those two sets of numbers right there are the only numbers that would be on the website. So what we want to do is we want to put those two sets of numbers into the trustee file number field and leave the rest off. Each trustee there's about 6 trustees that have file numbers, the rest do not. Each one that does have a file number has a different format, and each one is recorded differently. Most are recorded in their entirety except for this one. So let's go ahead and enter this file number in the system here, 94790.102809. So now that we have all of our information entered into our fields that we can, again, we are trying to get all the information that we can from this listing. This is one page, so there's a next page. So each listing will have the pertinent information in it. So now that we have all of the information that we can extracted from that listing and put into our fields, we can click on search. As you know from the manual that I have sent over, some of these will yield multiple choices to choose from. Some will not. Some will just have one. And as we point out in the manual, you would use this view to click on this to open it up. Let's go ahead and do that. We click on view. The view tells us what information is in this property. More importantly, it tells us the legal description right there. That legal description is what we want to match. We want to match this to the listing page. So in our listing, the listing is going to take precedence. So in the listing it says lot 154 of Moreland Heights. Well, we want to make sure that the property that we're looking at matches that, and in this case it does. And also bear in mind that when I say that the listing takes precedence, sometimes the name that gets imported will not match the listing. In this case it does. In the event that it does not, the listing takes precedent. So we're going to change this if it doesn't match, and I will show you on the next screen how that works. But for now this matches, so this is great. So we're going to go ahead and select that property from the select a property screen, and that will take us to the analysis screen, where we can look at the data that's importing and make sure everything is correct. And what we want to do is, again, just make sure that that legal description is good. Make sure that that legal description matches your listing. And then we want to look at the name. We want to make sure that this section, owner full name, is correctly filled in. For example, in this listing might have said Tammy and Bob Garlington. If in fact it did, and Bob's name was missing from here, we would type in and Bob, just like that. We would leave the first and last name section alone. All we want to do is have one person's name, first name, and one person's last name in those fields. But we want to make sure on the full name that Bob is included, if Bob's name was there. But Bob is not, there is no other name there, so this is correct. So since it's correct, we've done our job. Now we click this button here, save data, and search again. And this will bring us back to the property wizard screen, where our form will be blank again, so that we can start the data process all over again.